Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us tonight on our news presentation. And many thanks for joining us on KMTV. Let's now bring you our first development. The Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS on Thursday began the hosting of its week-long second extraordinary session in Monrovia. Liberia is hosting the extraordinary session of the regional body for the first time since its establishment 44 years ago. Hosted under the theme Transhumance and Intercommunity Conflicts in the ECOWAS region, the parliamentary gathering brings together over 100 delegates from members' countries. Serving as guest speaker at the opening of the ceremony, Vice President Jewel Howard Taylor extended gratitude to ECOWAS for establishing what she calls early warning center throughout the region, describing it as a cogent part of the ECOWAS system of governance.
As we convene this special session in search of a productive formula and ways in which cordial relationships can coexist in our sub-region, on our continent, and amongst our people, permit me to suggest that we take a look at modern and innovative ways for livestock support systems being used in Western countries as a way forward. I also want you to take a respective look in our history to the far-sighted Pan-Africanists on the oneness in diversity as espoused by eminent continental icons like Nnamdi Azikiwe, Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, Madiba Nelson Mandela, Malamu Julius Nyerere, Patrice Lumumba, and Kofi Annan, amongst others. These legendary icons for the African people's struggle for unity and cohesion and the affirmation of their dignity bequeath to us thousands of lessons on the perils of hate, division, corruption, illiteracy, and self-indulgence, amongst other ills. The underlying question remains, can we begin in earnest to love one another again? For this is the only basis through which we can harness the collectivity of our resources in order to build equitable and peaceful societies. It is my consideration that regional bodies like ECOWAS will need to invest more time, resources, and energy in efforts to break down imagined barriers, perceived irreconcilable differences, as well as encourage our leaders to build transparent government systems which will remove suspicions of ills and blaming of one another, the combination of which will generate intolerance, hatred, and engender violence.
Also speaking at the extraordinary session of ECOWAS in Monrovia, specifically Congo Town, was ECOWAS ambassador accredited to Liberia, Babatunde Ajesomo, and this was what he had to say. Let's take a look.
As violent conflict appears to be declining in some of our member states, the wave of insurgencies, banditry, and kidnapping in the Sahel region that is currently afflicting some West African countries sends alarming signals of the possible resurfacing of internal and regional violent conflict. So the issue involving transhumance and intercommunal conflict in West Africa is one serious challenge that our sub-region has been dealing with for some time now. Given the pervasive nature, one is tempted to ask, what are the causes and drivers of the problem of transhumance and intercommunal conflicts? I'm happy that we have so many experts that have been lined up to address this issue. Experts have preferred problems of the growing demographic and population pressures, competition between herders and farmers over access to water and grazing areas, as well as expansion of agricultural activities. They also identify problem of climate change and acute variability and unpredictability of rainfall. They also identified increased proliferation of arms, firearms, which has intensified the misunderstanding between farmers and herders and resulted in the killing of one another. They have also identified competition for scarce natural resources, local and national politics, especially failure on the part of local authorities and government to find those lasting solutions for farmers and herders to coexist peacefully, including weak enforcement of the rule of law, and more importantly, weak and sometimes non-implementation of ECOWAS protocols.
The government of Liberia says it is lobbying with its Japanese counterpart for the full pavement of the road between Gabriel Toko and the St. Paul's bridges on Bushro Island. According to Public Works Minister Mabutu Vlan Yipan, the rehabilitation works on damaged roads in central Monrovia and past adjacent has begun. The Public Works Minister made the disclosure when he appeared at or before the full plenary of the House of Representatives on Capitol Hill.
With respect to the situation of the bad roads in Monrovia and its environs, especially the Bourgeois Island, that is from bridge to bridge, from Gabriel Toko Bridge to St. Paul Bridge, the Congo Town Back Road, the Jalatan Road, UN Drive, Mama Point around the EU head offices, Carware, so many places around. With respect to the Bourgeois Island Road, during the recent TCAT meeting in Tokyo, a submission was made by government, through His Excellency the President, to the Japanese government to help us with the full-scale reconstruction of this road from Gabriel Toko Bridge to the St. Paul Bridge. From indications, this request will land on fertile grounds. But while we are awaiting the reconstruction, the ministry itself has initiated a series of actions. And if you live across on that road, you will notice that since Saturday, we have been engaged every night trying to patch those areas that are damaged. Same is the situation with Jalatown. If you live in a community, you will notice that as recent as last night, the area that is damaged around the back roof in the university coming down the hill, that was resolved last night. The Congo Town Back Road is also another challenge. So gradually we are on the move. We will be sensitive and responsive, at least, so that while we are waiting for full-scale reconstruction, we can have the roads being passable.
Liberia's permanent representative to the United Nations has underscored the need for full attention to be drawn to the country's judicial system in the recently approved UN country program document for Liberia. Ambassador D. Maxwell Kimaya said Liberia looks forward to the United Nations country program midterm review to include such core. He's been speaking more about this.
As the access to justice and the upholding of the rule of law remain among top priorities of His Excellency President Weah, the government and people of the Republic of Liberia continue support to the justice system of Liberia with a focus on Liberia's judiciary will be highly appreciated for inclusion in this country program document for Liberia. We look forward to the midterm review of the country program document, where possible adjustments could be made to reflect current realities in view of specific strides the government of Liberia and partners will make to consolidate hope for the people of Liberia and sustain an enabling society to enhance economic growth and development. In view of the aforementioned recommendations and pursuant to the contents of the country program document presented, we hereby endorse and support the approval of the country program document for Liberia by the UNDP Executive Board.
Well, viewers, if you just joined us tonight, this is a reminder that you're watching KMTV's News Today with me, Emmanuel Davis, presenting. Many thanks for joining us tonight on our news presentation. Stories we're following tonight, including this one still ahead of us. Liberia will change the money through the legal process. Not my words, but words of Information Minister, that's Eugene Nangwe. Well, let's now bring you this development where a pro-democracy group under the banner Progressive Alliance for the Promotion of the Pro-Poor Agenda, PAPA for short, has criticized Information Minister Eugene Nangwe for allegedly failing to exercise duties assigned to him as government official. Making the accusation in an exclusive interview with KMTV News, the chairman of PAPA, Henry Johnson, branded Minister Nangwe as a sleeping giant that needs to wake up from bed to the call of duty. PAPA boss furthered the lack of proper information dissemination on the part of the Information Ministry is immensely contributing to the negative perceptions in the public about the performance of government. He's been speaking more.
I think Minister Eugene Nangwe is a bit at bed. He needs to wake up. He's asleep.
What's happening?
He's asleep. Like one of the former information ministers said during his confirmation hearing, Minister Louis Brown, a dead sleeping giant. I want to classify Minister Nangwe as a sleeping giant. He needs to wake up.
Why do you say so?
Our information arm of government is doing absolutely nothing to inform the public on the activities of our government, which is wrong. The many perception within the quarters of our people is as a result of the Ministry of Information and the arm that is responsible to educate the public on day-to-day activity of our government has done absolutely nothing for the past 6-7 months. Which of course is bad for the country and it is bad for the government like ours. The people need to understand what the government is doing. There are a lot of positive initiatives that the government is doing. Our president has just returned from the TCAT summit. As of the day the president arrived till date, the Ministry of Information has said absolutely nothing. And if they have said, the public has not grasped any positive outcome to the extent other guys within the opposing force are now asking the question, what benefit did the president bring? There are a lot of positive outcomes that have come out of that TCAT summit. But the Ministry of Information has not gathered the information to have it disseminated to our people. And that is wrong. Even with the harmonization program, it is only the Ministry of Finance that will speak to the harmonization. You do not have a clear-cut information coming from the Ministry of Information concerning this entire harmonization program. So Minister Nangwe needs to wake up. He needs to wake up.
Well, it seems to be that the Ministry of Information has now waken up from sleep and, of course, stating that the government of Liberia will print new currency in order to give value to the Liberian banknote. The disclosure was made by Minister Nangwe at the Ministry of Information regular news conference on Thursday. Minister Nangwe is quoted as saying, "We will change the money through the legal process," noting that the government has initiated such endeavor. The Liberian Information Minister told journalists on Thursday the decision comes as a result of the lack of total information on the total amount of Liberian dollar in circulation by government and the alleged holding of newly printed notes by some officials of the last regime of which he was a senior member. Let's now bring you the Information Minister speaking today at the Ministry of Information regular news conference.
And let me tell you, right now, we as a government, we don't know how much Liberian dollar we have in the country. We know how much and we know where. So we change the money The people that are keeping it, where every now and then they bring $2 billion on the market, then it affect the foreign exchange ratio, will affect them. We change the money. The president, we follow the law now to do it. The law says, if you want to do that, you are going to the legislature. It's public information. That's secret. Even though some things happen in secret, but it won't be open. So I'm saying it now. We change the money, and the government has started the process of changing the money. We change it. So you want to keep your money anywhere at your business. So you can't wake up one day and say, today I made a rate 300,000, and then you can do it because you have the Liberian dollars to affect it, and then you just do it. I'm even talking about the new money, even the old one. You know, we got two different sets of banknotes on the market now. The old one and the new one. So then you see more old money than anything. Where is it coming from? No government should run an economy without knowing the total amount of liquidity of its currency on the market. So we fix that. That's a monetary policy that the president has approved that will be implemented. So we'll change the money. You will call it 70 billion coming. Wow. Because when you see those who criticize the most are the ones who benefiting the most from the situation we have, the inflationary tendencies that we have right now. We fix it. The inflation, we're in a curve right now, a downward curve in our economy. Not because of any policies by the president, that is not a good policy, but because of the historical antecedents, the historical economic antecedents that he inherited, that he has to fix because he's the president. One of the measures is how we deal with the budget, where our wage bill was off the whack.
Well, the information minister, who is perceived to be asleep, has blasted critics and members of the opposition for alleged constant attacks on government. According to him, the government welcomes criticism, but added that said must be done in good faith, making reference to former Truth and Reconciliation Commission chairperson, Councillor Jerome Verdier. The former TRC chairman recently branded some officials of government as gangsters. A statement the Liberian government spokesman described as unpatriotic and unfortunate.
There are some people in this country, they say the opposition. The only time they want the country to be alright when they're in power. As soon as they're not in power, they say the country is a gangster paradise. Liberia is not a gangster paradise, it's a paradise of democracy. A paradise of peace. Because if it was gangster paradise, you will not say that gangster paradise would drag you to post like that people used to do before. Are we doing it? You call the president and next day you can't shake your hand. And you're not being fooled by these people. Fly by night advocates. They come and advocate, and then they say, oh, we stakeholder. Everybody holding a stakeholder. I don't want to say, but you bring one say, me hold it too. So I'll be stakeholder. This issue with Mr. Verdier, I told the Minister of Gender to sue him. Sometimes when people lie that we can't let them go free. You know, you call somebody gangster because way back, they also the president can keep brush. Because people tell him that they in CDC meeting, he can't forget it. He said she fixed it. Mr. Verdier, you call the woman a gangster? You call Molu a gangster? How many people in that case? Gangster can kill people. You call a country a gangster paradise and you expect investors to come? He's very unpatriotic. His motives are selfish, parochial, not in the national interest, political interest. And then you want us to give credence to what you wrote as TRC report. Maybe, I mean, the president respects it, but I don't, because I know he has a skewed mentality. It's all about him. You disagree with him one time, he labels you, he brands you. He has no moral pedestal to stand on. You call somebody a gangster, you call a whole gangster paradise. What happens in gangster paradise? Even Afghanistan, where people can be shooting and bombing everything, nobody, their citizens don't call it that, but you expect investors to come. And then when they don't come, you say, oh, the government. People read what you write. And then he was somebody on our TRC, you know. How do we put these people to these places? I don't even understand. Call somebody a gangster. We have no evidence. And these are the people that we want to heal. We want to celebrate. So anybody that calls the president and any hero, They government business on that because some can cost more than they say. But we just gotta not do it. We just gotta not do it. I'm from a different school. I believe in fire for fire. Because these people, when you allow them to do these things, our people are not gullible.
Voice Information Minister Eugene Nangbe, they're firing today at the regular news conference of the Ministry of Information after being branded by a pro-democracy group, Papa, as a sleeping giant that needs to wake up to the call of duty. While still at the Ministry of Information press conference, the head of LIMPAC at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Francis Ray, has clarified public perception about government's salary harmonization scheme. Mr. Ray said the program was introduced to correct the ills and inefficiency in the general allowance regime. He's been speaking more. Let's take a look.
The allowance regime or the system of paying people through general allowance was very loose, was very unfair. You have vertical and horizontal inequity. The entities are the witnesses. Even employees, even in the Ministry of Information, Public Affairs and Tourism are also witness to the process. So it's no secret. Outside of ministry, you also saw the huge disparity. So the harmonization was about correct ills, the weakness, the inefficiency, the unfairness in the general allowance regime of paying civil servants. So the harmonization did not lay off people, but the harmonization actually standardized the pay of people to bring the sense of equity and fairness into the pay system.
Well, from the Ministry of Information regular news conference, this is how I would like to take leave of you tonight on our news presentation right here on KMTV. Many thanks for joining us. But before leaving you a recap of the headlines. For the first time, regional body ECOWAS convenes its second extraordinary session for 2019 in Liberia as Vice President Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor recommends a reflection of the past in search of remedy to regional challenges. Government clarifies public perception on salary harmonization scheme, says it was introduced to right the wrongs. The government of Liberia says it will change the money through the legal process, and you did listen to Information Minister Eugene Nangbe. Well, many thanks for joining us on our news presentation. Better still, you can join us on www.kmtvliberia.com and other social media networks available to you. My name is Emmanuel Davis on behalf of the entire team here at KMTV. Do have a great night.